Good evening, one and all, and welcome to the Wor Lasses Show. It is 8 p.m. It is the Tuesday night. We're bringing you the latest, greatest Newcastle United Women's information and the Lionesses as well. And I can't say welcome back enough to the fabulous, the incomparable Aaron Embleton. Welcome back, Aaron.
Always the best intro, Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah, like absolutely fantastic to be back. I've missed the show. Just been run off my feet. All sorts has been happening. I've got two businesses. One, the balloon deco company. So please look us up on Facebook. And any listeners, if you are interested, if you message saying TTR10, you will get a discount of 10% on any balloon setups for birthdays, parties, corporate. And as well, sneaky peek is I am just about to launch my own football academy, which is going to start on a Friday evening for all different age groups. So if you're interested of whether it's young ones, please give me a message and we can obviously sort out. And it's every Friday, so all different age groups, and I can obviously go into a bit more detail. But yeah, all exciting stuff. So a bit mad, a bit crazy. I've got a van as we speak, gonna be pulling it up. Brand new van for both things. So yeah, loving it.
Look at you. Entrepreneurial mindset. I love that. Do you know what? Can I just quickly clarify that my reaction is not at all fake. I am learning this live on air. So I know I'm naturally gregarious. I do get that, but I like this joyful, surprised face is completely real. Before I actually tap you up for more information on that, I do need to get the HR factors out of the way as ever. Welcome to all of our new viewers. More likes we get, the more views we get. It obviously helps us in that algorithm, so keep it coming. Magpie massive. To those regular viewers that we've got as well, either watching on the live or watching on the record, please drop us a like, drop us a subscribe as well. Spread the word. There's so few channels out there that are actually doing content to promote Newcastle Women and the Newcastle football team in general. So please do check that out and make sure you subscribe. Big shout out to our channel sponsor, Mama Roo Records. I'll obviously give you the blah, blah, blah about smash, subscribe, ring the bell for TTR content, all of that lovely stuff. We can also be found on Insta, Facebook, X, all your socials, all of that jazz. But Aaron, please, the master returns, but you've come back with a mic drop moment. I've got so much to talk to you about, but we've got new signings. We've got a lot going on. So what the hell we've got? I want to get your feed. I want to get your take. I don't know if you saw, I did a bit of a show about the transfer window that we had. At least Mitchell was working for the Lasses, which was great. But we had Murphy sign, Gregory, Wardlaw, Pritchard, 4 new signings for the Lasses. Give us your take. Give us your take.
Yeah, honestly, absolutely amazing. Like was said, for months and months when I've been on the show, that we've needed to go up that gear. And although it's sad to say, some of our players that's been loyal and been with us years, in order to get to what the development and going through to see the improvement, we have to bring in quality players. And I was impressed with this transfer window. I seen Gregory left foot deliveries into the box, left, right, and centre. She was really, really good on the left. Wardlaw, ex-Chelsea, we brought in experience, people loans from Man City. This is where it's a game changer now, because we're bringing in, WSL players that are maybe stepping down or coming on loan. So yeah, we've got to do that to strengthen, and the ultimate goal is to be playing in the WSL, as we all know, and we want to see our team in the WSL, and this is the way to go. So yeah, transfer window very exciting, but quality players that's been brought in.
It's good stuff, isn't it? I think it's encouraging. I think it's very telling of
yes
where we are and the ambition. So I was really pleased to see that the window that we've had. We also have an early super chat in. Stoic Protector. May I let you know I have been noticing you on the other TTR shows as well. I'm a great fan of the Stoic teaching, so love that. If you haven't checked it out, please look into it. Fabulous contribution there. Like to support your show. Thank you very much. Thanks for all who promote the game for the lasses. Indeed, indeed. What I want to get on to, Aaron, as we do, is talk about our general news in the world of women's football. Primarily, if you are new to the show, we do like to cover specifically Newcastle United Women, obviously, probably why you're here. Championship, but we also cover the Lionesses as well, because like, who doesn't love the Lionesses? So, Aaron, we've had the big squad announcement today. UEFA Nations League squad has just come out. I believe this is for the Portugal fixture that's taken place on the 21st of February, which is super exciting. So this is the squad that has been announced. We have got some classic names in there, which we like to see. Earps, Bright, Bronze, Carter. Like we've got the lasses back. Toon, love all of that. But we've actually got some injuries coming back as well. So the likes of James as well, Russo, and surprised that I saw Nikita Paris. So give us synopsis. What you're thinking, what you're feeling. Excited to see this lineup.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, to be honest, a lot of the names that everyone's looking at is kind of ones that are given, that you would expect on the in the squad. Great to see Lauren James back. She's still very young. She's had quite a few injuries over the last year and a half, but in the last couple of England games that I've watched, she's been a massive miss. She can change a game. She's a magician. When she gets the ball at her feet, everything's dead easy for her, and she can just curl a ball in from anywhere, and she's that difference, and she's going to be a world star. So great to see her come back. Russo again, our finishing is prolific. She just needs a touch into her. She's touch around the centre halves, and she's in again with her head very strong. Millie Bright, she's solid at the back. Lucy Bronze, Lucy Bronze speaks for herself. She's solid on the back right. But yeah, like Nikita Paris, I mean, she's been missing for quite some time, not been selected, but she'd been scoring a lot of goals, and yeah, I think she deserves a place back in the squad. She's been out and then now she's back in, so good for her.
Yeah, I'm really happy to see that as well. And I think the fact that she's made it back in through graft, hard work, she's got there, and Wiegman's been impressed with that. So absolutely love it to see that that's actually paid off for her as well. I think personally, for me, it's a really nice mix of experience, which we're going to need in the tough fixtures that we've got, not negating the fact that we are in Group D, that I have cutely named the Group of Death, D for death, for the fixtures that we've got coming up as well for the Lionesses. So I like that we've got experience, but we're seeing the new faces coming through as well. I was really impressed with Naz in the last round, so I am looking forward to seeing that also. We do have the next round here, so UEFA 21st of Feb, we've just mentioned that one, and then in quick succession to that, the 26th of Feb after that as well. So it's going to be a bit of a big one, this, the one on the 26th of February, 8 p.m. Please do tune in for that one. European champions versus world champions. It can't get bigger than this, right? This is the big game.
Yeah, and it's, it's always, FIFA rankings, it's the top within the top 10, the two top teams. So it's going to be interested. We slightly play different to Spain. Spain's very close ball control, technically very, very good. We've got a bit of height in our team, and we're a bit more physical in Spain. So it's going to be an interesting one. But all in all, so Serena's picked a cracking team. And like I say, I've been following Lauren James since she was very young, and now she's coming to that age where she's got a bit of experience behind her, and hopefully now coming out of the injury period, I'm looking forward to seeing what she can do to turn a game. When it's 1-1, she's one of them players where you're looking and it might be a very level-pegged game with two big international teams, and there's not a lot in it at an international level. There really isn't. And like I say, she can pick a ball up and change a game within a second from nothing. So, look, very excited.
Yeah, we've also had some other good news as well. We are sold out of available tickets. The Spain end looks like it is remaining. But the England-Belgium game. So if you are interested in checking that one out, it is taking place at the Bristol ground. So that is, the support there is going to be fantastic. And it is for the lasses, but it's actually great to see the numbers going up. And I'm gonna be pointing at that later to a jagged comment that I need to make. You know what I'm like, Aaron? I need to get me digs in where it's necessary.
I'll be interested to be like, oh, come on, what is it?
I've always got it. Like just don't prod the bear is all that I'll say, because I don't want to go on a massive
for now.
rant. I can feel it already. I can feel it within me, right? Building. So, Adobe Women's FA Cup. Obviously, we are going to be reviewing the match this evening, but we did bow out to Crystal Palace. Of course, we will get into the review shortly. However, I do like to give a quick view about what some of those round fixture results looked like. We can see here, obviously, we're going to be talking about our own game, but you can see the majority of the teams who've gone through are from the Women's Super League, unsurprisingly. However, I do want to give props here, which is jarring and uncomfortable for me to say. And you can notice I didn't put the graphic up for very long, but Sunderland Lasses are through. Now, this gives me great conflict, Aaron, because I love the northeast of England with every fibre in my being. I love women in football, but it's our greatest rival, Sunderland. So all I want to say is congratulations to the Lasses, although you may have had an easier cup run. But let's not get into that. Congratulations all the same. And I do wish them the best of luck, though, Aaron.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. I mean, to be fair, they didn't have a great start this season, did they? They were, they were trailing behind us, and we flew up there. And second half of the season now coming in, they're doing a lot better. Obviously, they're slightly above us, and it's killing us to see it. But I do feel that, we're strong enough. We've brought more players in. Again, like there's nothing. There's nout in it. There's like what 6 points difference between us and top of the league, Birmingham. So I mean, I'm still feeling it. I'm still feeling it.
Had you Pash, because we will discuss the league table and what it means. I like to get your opinion on this, which we always do at the end of the show. So keep tuned in for that. But I need to go on to my rant.
Boy.
Buckle up. And I have to talk about this because I've been ranting about it actually during other shows as well. But this particular one relates to women in football, which is just irks me to a degree that I've never felt.
I have no clue what you're going to say here.
Well, don't interrupt us mid-flow because I'm about to kick off. So just buckle yourself in, strap up, we're fine, right? So I need to talk about Talk Sport.
Right.
Yet again, Talk Sport getting under my skin. Alan Brazil. So I don't know if people in the chat have heard about this. Please get your comments in because I'm intrigued to know what everybody else feels about this. But earlier in the week, The Breakfast Show with Alan Brazil and Siobhan, who always a really good tag team, decent banter, good knowledge, fine. However, this is an exhibit A of bad form and archaic dinosaur culture that somebody in the media, mainstream, can actually say the type of things that has been said. And I want to say a big, huge congratulations to Siobhan for holding her own, challenging back on Alan Brazil's ridiculous, outdated comments. Anyway, don't worry, she's got a graphic for you. I'm going to show you verbatim what's being said. In fact, I'm going to bring it up now because she's all fired up. So here you go, Aaron, just so you're aware. With the greatest of respect, when you talk about Manchester United, it's only the men's, the Premier League we're talking about here with Mission Impossible. Now, I am going to set some context for this, actually. It's not about the women. Sorry, around the world's not bothered. They're not. In the bigger picture, they're not. And obviously, she's rebutted. You're absolutely ridiculous. Listen to yourself. It's unbelievable from you. Your granddaughter plays football. Listen to the language. All of that jazz. Now, as I said, I am going to set some context for this. So for those who are not aware, this pertains to Manchester United as a club in its totality. So Mission 1, as it's called, is Manchester United's ambition to have the leading team in women's football. So they want a first team title for their women's side. Obviously, we know the sides that are absolutely have dominated and have the monopoly on that for years because they've invested, and rightfully so. They've earned the fruits of their labor, should we say. Now, Mission 1 is a bigger part of Manchester United's overall ambition called Mission 21, which is their planned restore to grandeur of Man U's success. And they are saying that they are going to get the men winning the Premier League by 2028, Aaron. So he's obviously started a conversation about Mission 21, like how important it is. And then we're like, oh, but yeah, Mission 1, who gives a shit? It's women's football, sorry. But I'm emotive about this. Like, nobody cares. It's women football. And credit is due to the Man United women's supporters, because after that statement was made, they came out that had like printed signs saying, we're with you, we are bothered. And it was like, we are bothered, hashtag Man United Women. So absolutely, like sometimes your club's not going to agree with your morals and values and the direction of the world. But Aaron Brazil, talk sport, saying something like that.
Yeah.
Give me your thoughts on that.
Sam, it's absolutely disgusting, and to be honest with you, like it's something that's like I've been used to, because from being a kid, that's always been the mentality, and up until the last 5 years from the women's Euros, it all changed, where it was like, I don't care about women's football. Like, it's always been like one of them, I'm not interested. Or so what's Newcastle men doing? That's what it's always been like. Perception is changing, but from such a big profiled, a pundit, it's people. No disrespect, but it's a lot of people that are celebrities out there that, us women in sport rely on to try and help and change this perception. I mean, if you look at the likes of Ian Wright, for example, he's massively involved with the women. His granddaughter plays, Rachel Wright Phillips, and again, remember that name because she's going to play for England too. He's massively into it, and he jumps all over it, and he's a big advocate of it. But to see other people in the limelight, just disregard us is, it's not on, and it's so awful to see that it's still happening. And it's still happening now, and you're reading that out, and I'm just like, hello. Like I say, I'm used to it because that's all I've ever known. I've never known it any different until the last couple of years. It's not okay, and it's something that needs stamped out.
Yeah,
I'm sure the FA, and I'm sure obviously the Talk Sport will be involved, and everyone in the background to kind of, do something about it. But ultimately, it needs to stop completely. Like, enough's enough. It's not fair.
Yeah, I think it was a dreadful comment. Stoic puts it brilliantly. But I sometimes think to myself, how am I hearing this in this day and age with the successes that we've seen? Like, you know, the 2022 Euros arguably changed everything for
Yeah.
women's sport, was a platform for grassroots, for getting people interested in the game as a spectator sport as well. So to hear that sort of thing, oh my God, it just,
And this is why, like, you know, me, you, and many of millions of other women out there try and really push for women's sport, and we do the things we do to try and eliminate this sort of culture. But unfortunately, it's still there, and there's still a lot of work to be done, you know. And then that's
yeah,
for the individuals around to question that. So for me, if someone says something like that around me, um, or comes across and says makes any sort of comment, that's for the individual to challenge, and I ask people to do that. So when you hear comments like that, please challenge them, because otherwise this never stops. It continues, you know, it continues online. Sam, I'm sure you've already had it, but like, you know, you post something about football and you get a barrage of comments, and it's all women don't know anything about football, women need to get back in the kitchen. And again, I'm used to that. I'm just like, when's the message coming? And it all starts, and it's like, it's not on, it's not fair to that person, and it needs to stop.
yeah. And you know what? I think, you know, it takes a certain amount of grit. You know, I'm not breaking my arm, patting myself on the back here or anything, but it takes grit to put yourself out there and have an opinion about the men's game and the women's game. It's like almost, oh, well, do you really know what you're talking about?
Talking about.
I know more what I'm talking about than some of the
Mhm.
fellas who go and have bloody season tickets. Like,
Mhm.
you know, I love this club and I love football generally. So can
Yeah.
we all not just have an opinion? Why does the fact that I've got, you know, a pair of boobs have to come into it? Like, I just don't get it.
It still
I,
happens,
I
Sam, you
don't.
know. Even I'm
Yeah,
like,
I know. It's
literally, when
awful.
I'm, if I go to, for example, like say Christmas or whatever, I'm in the pub, and you know, there's people are talking about football, and I join in that conversation. I have to earn respect before
Yes.
I'm listened, because I'm a woman. And it's
Yeah.
not until somebody comes along that's in my group or whatever, it's somebody's friends, and says, "Do you realise she used to play for England?" All of a sudden, it's like, what?
Oh,
You used to,
mm-hmm.
yeah, oh, she must know what she's talking. All of a sudden, I'm now accepted. But it took
Mm-hmm.
that comment to make us accept us. Otherwise, I'm just like the disregard. I don't even get eye contact, even though I'm involving myself in the conversation about whether it's Newcastle, whether it's the Premier League men, whether it's women. You know, I'm disregarded because I'm a woman. But as soon as I heard that I've played for England, then all of a sudden I'm accepted into the conversation.
Yeah.
And again, that's hard at times because you feel like you're having to prove yourself, and I shouldn't have to do that.
And you know what? It's a hard run, and respect if there's any, you know, young women and ladies watching this evening who are getting into grassroots sports. You know, it's not a tough road, but take the positives, because it's great when you get yourself involved. So like, don't let any of this put you off. Keep fighting the good fight,
No,
because
100%.
I've got a nice little segue for you right now, because our own lasses, look at this. Whose house is filling up? 16,000 tickets sold for the Newcastle Sunderland derby. This
Class.
is going to be mega,
It is.
mega. 23rd March, 2 p.m. St James's. Be there. What are you doing if you haven't got your tickets already? It's like £8 a ticket. Get along. I ranted about this last time, Aaron, but this is about attendance. So this is, I don't know whether it was publicised, but I definitely saw some things online about Sunderland posting that they released their ticket sales rather than their attendance. So please get yourself down. It would be great if you bought a ticket, but please, please, please do get yourself down there, because it's going to be a fantastic day. I am pretty confident that the War Flags are going to be doing something special on the day as well. We're going to make the atmosphere rocking for the Newcastle United Women, because we have got to bring that home. And just while we're doing that, I just want to show this again, because this was obviously the Sunderland derby fixture. playing at the Stadium of Lights with the Black Cats, and that was the victory shoot. And that preceded probably one of my favourite photos of the last few years, but it's black and white. I absolutely love this. I want this printed huge on my wall, but absolutely love that. So if you haven't got your tickets already, please do buy your ticket, because the lasses are absolutely fantastic. It's going to be
It's going to be like, again, for families, the atmosphere, even before you go into the ground, the atmosphere before then, and the occasion. I just want to see them smash the record. And it's pennies, you know. It's next to nothing for a ticket. Go and buy yourself a ticket, get your family there, get down to the game. You'll really, really enjoy it. And honestly, especially Newcastle Women are getting more and more supporters all the time. But yeah, what more do you want? It's a derby.
Yeah,
Mel Ray versus Becky Langley. Come on.
Clash of the Titans. Tsunami meets Volcano. I'm so excited about it. It's going to be epic. But I am well aware of time. I want to move on to the Newcastle Women's news now. Obviously, we have our new signing. Gregory, I believe, has been called up for international duty for Scotland.
Yeah.
Plus, love that. So I think it shows the intent that we've got with some of the signings that we've made as well. We've got several internationals now within our squad. Speaks to the ambition, I think, certainly. I believe switching allegiances as well. So capped for England previously, 17s to under 23s, I think it was. And now switching. Don't blame her for switching. Last wants to play an international career, absolutely 100%. It's exposure, it's experience, yes, at the highest level. So really, really well done. What I want to move on to next, Darren, Cataldo, it's our birthday, or it was maybe yesterday or today. Many happy returns, irrespective of the date. However, was voted the Seller Player of the Month for January. How do you feel about that? And that is a loaded question.
No, I think, you know, she had a long spell out injured again, and it's hard for any player to be out for the length of time she has, and then she's come back and she's put in some strong performances. Do I feel she's at her best yet? No. But I do feel like, you know, she's done really, really well. Come on, throw it out. I'm waiting on it.
I'm not. I need to hold my hands up. I did make an error. Freya for Scotland and Emily for Ireland. Thank you for correcting me, Jamie. But I don't know how I feel about Cataldo getting the Player of the Month. I don't. I'm sorry. I know you're going to like toe a line and be really respectful, but I just need to give my honest. I'm not an expert. You're an expert.
And why don't you? Why doesn't she deserve it? What? Come on.
Missing passes, interceptions haven't been great either. Yes, he's back from injury, but does that, you know, he's an award because you've been off on the Mick?
No,
you're right, it doesn't. But you're right, it doesn't, Aaron. Like, come on. I think, no, let me be clear. I think there has been better players for Newcastle United, and we shouldn't be giving out awards for, you know, she's been injured.
Who would you have given it to?
Stokes, Exhibit A, Jazz, easy.
I would have probably given it to Jazz.
There you go.
I would have probably given it to Jazz.
All right, stop talking. Yeah. I was right.
All right, I'll hold my hands up. You were right for once. You know what we're like.
Yes, I love that. Absolutely love it. Right, okay then. Let's move on to the review. It's obviously a big match. We were up against some pretty tough opposition, and wow, did they give us a game. But Aaron, this is the starting 11 that we had. You know, we've got, you know, new signing in there, Murphy Island. Jamie, keep me honest here. I think she's the Island International. I need to check myself. Check it before you wreck it. Greenwood, really happy to see Greenwood in the side as well. So I think Jules has had a really good few performances. Moan, absolute statue at the back. 2 keepers on the bench. Scratching my head a little bit about that one, but more first team minutes for Chapman. So tell us what you feel about the starting 11.
Yeah, I mean, a few switches in there. Again, you're coming up against a Super League team. Always going to be very difficult. Uh, it's what we always talk about. The levels are different. Close game at times. It was really close. But ultimately, it was it was always going to be a hard task, and you've got to rest tired legs. And give people minutes as well, because a lot of people sat on the bench majority of the season and coming on for 20, 30 minutes. You've got to give people a chance. So, yeah, I mean, for me, starting lineup was fine. She was always going to give people minutes.
Yeah, and you know what, worthwhile, and let's sort of get into the match itself. So as ever, we do like to talk about the first half, and we'll give you like a little bit of a breakdown. We want you to get in the comments as well. So tell us about your summary for the first half, any standout performances, what we should have improved during that first half as well. We will try and read out as many comments as we possibly can. In the meantime, if you are just joining us, please give us a like, because it helps like-minded people actually find us, and we love to promote what the lasses are trying to do, what we're trying to do as well. So drop us a like, subscribe if you can for all the TTR content, all of that HR jazz. So first half for me, Aaron, our attack, I felt like we had a bit of a different formation this time. I've been seeing in the last few games that we've been intercepting. When we're going one-on-one, we're actually taking people on, but having support there to back up and mop up whenever we miss. That was lacking for me. It certainly in this game. Whereas as a staple, we've started to do that and been having great success off the back of it. I thought Stokes was a warrior in the first half as usual, and I think I think she's really embedded herself and connected with the team now. The thread through balls that she's got, and breaking up lines, and she can unleash players like Lumsden, which was great. But credit to Crystal Palace, because they brought it ferociously. And yes, there's a difference in quality of sides. They've obviously had to recruit. For those who don't know, and please keep me honest here, because I am partial to a mistake. Previously in the Championship, promoted last season as well. So different type of opposition, Aaron. But give us your summary before we get into the granular detail.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell the difference in level straight away. We struggled at times in the midfield. We didn't in the midfield should be going on a bit of a pivot depending on when the ball was. We didn't close the gaps, so they were close enough to each other, which allowed Crystal Palace to play through us. Yes, I agree with you. The likes of Stokes was quite solid at the back and the left hand side, but it was too easy at times. I feel that we miss Licia Body big time. She's a brick wall in the middle, and I feel like when she's not playing, we're too easy to bypass. The midfield was too easy to bypass. First half was a lot better than the second half, but ultimately, again, we need to take our chances. And the last 4 or 5 games, I don't feel like, Hales has scored the amount of goals she's scored. I think Kesha's scored about 9 so far this season, which she has.
Yeah.
And that will tell you she's been prolific. But for the amount of opportunities clinically in front of goal, she could have had double the amount. Do you know what I mean? And I think that we've got Lumsden on the left. She's quality. You've got all these very tricky players that can score goals, but we're not clinical enough in front of goal. The players we've got can finish, and I mean finish, and hit the back of the net, whether that's dribbling past 1 or 2 individual goals or whether it's a team goal. But I don't feel that we take our chances, and I think sometimes we're getting crucified. Obviously, we've had a win, draw, and a loss. We're draw. We shouldn't have been drawn. Do you know what I mean? It shouldn't have been a draw. but yeah, like it's 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 a learning curve, and it's a learning curve for this club. It was years ago when they were in this league. Now they've had to build from the grassroots up, which they're doing, and bringing players in. This season's all been all about learning. And if you can remember from the start of the season when we first started talking, first couple of games, I said like, it was going to be mid-table at the top, and when we come against higher teams, it's going to show, and it did.
Okay, so I've got one for you.
Helen.
Joel was interviewed after the match. I'm going to read this. As you all know, I am dyslexic, so bear with that. But we can still be a bit more clinical on the ball, taking care of the final pass. But overall, a very positive performance, and we've gone toe-to-toe with the WSL side. That's great. That comes from Joel, who I think actually had a good game.
Mm-hmm.
But she's absolutely right. And it's sort of comforting in one word that, we're not living in fairy tale land, that we know that we need to be more clinical. And it was so refreshing to see, like, it's not just me thinking that this thing is just not right. But usually we can intercept the ball, Aaron. Like, what is it going to take to get more clinical? Is it composure? Is it something in training? What does it take? Because we've recruited well. Mm-hmm. We've got good strength on the bench as well to come off in case of time of need. And I just don't understand, like, what is it good? How can we turn the volume up on being more clinical?
It's literally in training. It's phases of play from the wingers playing the ball into the centre forwards to, straight away first touch in the back of the net. It could be for from the midfielders to take their shots when they've got the opportunity. I've seen so many times this season already that when midfield has got the ball and we've got a clear opportunity, and especially with the ability we have from our midfielders to take the shot on, it's like they don't have the confidence to do it, and they'll play a short ball into whether that's Hayes or any of the front runners, whether it's Barker, and back towards goal, and then the defenders nip in and nip the ball off, and we've lost possession again, and they're on the attack and a counter attack. So when we've got the opportunity to get a shot in, get the shot in. I don't know what it is, and I think it's a confidence piece, and I think Becky needs to maybe push to instill that a bit more and just say, you've got the ability. You've seen the likes of Body hit an absolute screamer from 35 yards, and it's flew in the top corner. I've seen her at St. James's Bend, one in the top right-hand corner, cutting in. Like, these midfielders need to take more of a confidence piece to have a goal. Stop being scared and having a shot. And, like, rather than letting Hales in the front has to turn a defender, go around two people to put it in the back of the net. Like, midfield needs to be on it, and we need to be taking more opportunities. The more shots, the more goals, but ultimately they need to be on target, and you need to bring a save out the keeper. Yeah.
I mean, we're getting several comments about Claudia Moan. She was just brilliant. I mean, it could have been a cricket score without Moan. Like, she was absolutely
outstanding,
phenomenal. I don't want her to regret her move to us. She obviously believes in the project, that you know what, we've got what it takes, and we're going to invest well in the squad. We've got more likelihood to do that. But Chippers, good evening, mate, has made a good point. Too many injuries as well. It's been difficult for Becky to pick a side.
Struggling, like, if you switch in the midfield so much, there's no consistency. So I totally agree with that, and that's what I mean. Like, you feel like she's switching the players that much that, like, you're not getting any consistency moving forward with that team, which is a shame, because I feel with the depth that we've got, the squad we've got, if we did have a full, everyone was fully fit, we would be up there. But it's a bit like Newcastle men last season. All them injuries absolutely KO'd we, and it's a similar sort of scenario with the women.
Yeah, I think for me, and I do want to give credit, because that they've had a tough transition to the WSL. They really have. There haven't been flying high. They've had to recruit quite carefully, but they really, really brought it. And I think they did a very, very good job. I think their pace was very good. We got outplayed by a better side.
Yeah.
Don't get us wrong. I think if we had a full squad to choose from, the heart and the passion that our lasses have, I think
Yeah.
we could have taken them.
Mhm.
I don't think it was too uneven, but I felt like we dropped heads a little bit. Like literally within the first 5 minutes, we started to lose possession. For me, there was a few players who was out there, like notably Stokes, Stobbs as well, who were really battling it. Stokes particularly, I think, like on the right, like battle after battle, just really going in for it, winning free kicks, which is what we needed to see. And there was an interesting little factoid during the match for those of you who didn't travel down there. Crystal Palace's average possession in the Super League was like 45%. Looked really comfortable. I think it just shows that quality that you've just talked to. But our possession and how often we were getting intercepted, my eye was twitching by the end of it. It was just like, oh, we seem to be just making like silly mistakes that even against, you know, a championship side, we don't normally make those types of mistakes. The communication was off. And maybe that's to what you say, Aaron, you know, because we're, you know, picking and choosing who we can get because we don't have the full squad available. The communication, the, you know, experience of playing together maybe just wasn't there for this match.
No, and again the sharpness. I mean, you know as a player, and I played behind the front two on the wings, but yeah, at times I did play like central midfield, and it doesn't matter where you're on the pitch, you're used to certain players next to you, and you know where they
Mm.
are. Sometimes you don't even have to lift your head up before you play the ball because you don't even need a touch. The ball comes into you, you know that your pal's next to you and it's one touch to the side. If you're switching people up that much, you then don't have a rhythm and you don't start to get to know your surrounding players. Do you know what I mean? They start to read off you. Again, we're forwards from a midfield point of view. And when you've got the ball, if you're the centre forwards know when to make the runs. They know, oh, Aaron's got the ball, she's going to play through the gap. They're already making that run. Where if it's somebody else, they don't know whether to stick or go. So there's all that comes into play. But yeah, Crystal Palace looked a lot sharper than we did, a lot faster. They were thinking a lot quicker than we do. Looking over their shoulder, they knew where they were putting the ball before it was
They
even
did.
coming to their feet. And I think that was, you could see the difference there. But I would have been very interested to see with a fully fit Newcastle women's team that I feel we could have went toe to toe with them. It's just
Mm.
a shame that it's not the case.
I I agree with you in terms of the total, and I think Becky selected a team to win and compete. You know, who we've actually picked on there from what we had to select from. You know, we've gone out there to win a game and give a performance, and I think that
Hmm.
the lasses absolutely did. You know, I've said this a couple of weeks ago on the show that this is like almost a transition period for me, Aaron. So
Hmm.
you know, as we're moving up the ranks, we're going to be getting better and better signings in.
Yeah.
We need to build this from the foundation because it's not as if we've had a great deal of time to
No.
sort of build up that squad depth of quality. This isn't
Hmm.
squad depth in terms of just bodies for positions. This is squad
Hmm.
depth for quality at the same
Yeah.
time. Because of the quick succession that we've actually had, the back-to-back promotions, it's all been fantastic for
Hmm.
us fans. But actually, probably the structure of the team, we've had to change so dynamically. So it's going to
Yeah.
take us time to get
Hmm.
there. And
And
there's an
you've got to
interesting.
remember as well, Sam, they've changed from being like semi-professional, and
Mm,
really even as a hobby to professional players. So
yeah,
that all comes into play, as well as obviously you're bringing players in to try and strengthen. But you're quite right, the 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 pace of the development is being that fast, because they've had we've had the back end from Amanda Stavely from the beginning, which has just catapulted everything. But that is also, we cannot expect too much. I think sometimes I feel like, what expectations are up there, and I get that because we're promotions, but we've also got to be realistic that we're doing exceptionally well as a northeast team in where we are in the league right now and where we are now and what league we're in, because that was way ahead of schedule. We're schedule says that we shouldn't even be in the championship right now, but we are, which is a fantastic job from the club and the people behind it.
That's not you raining on my parade again, is it?
Sorry.
Every time you bring me down, I'm sorry, I'm vomit-inducingly optimistic.
Well, you know what I'm like, and I'm a realist, and it's
I know
true,
it's good
and
for
it's
me.
true.
No, it's good for me. I appreciate it. We do have an interesting comment for debate here. Johnny Metal, good evening, sir. Oh, lady, I don't know. Do you think the training is right as we seem to be getting lots of injuries? This is an interesting one. I don't know whether, I don't think bunts over archers both sides, but I know that I did recruit a lot more in terms of coaching staff. We had some incomings and some outgoings as well. We've got specific set piece coaches. But this is a good question because we do have a lot of injuries, Aaron. Why is that? Is it fixture congestion? Is it the way we're training? What is it?
It could be. You've also got to take to an account the surface you're on. What training surfaces are they generally training on? Are they training indoors a lot at the minute, which can put a lot of stress on joints rather than grass and things that are soft. And ultimately warming up. But I mean, they've got the best of the best when it comes to the sort of, what's the word for it? I can't even get my words
Training
out now.
coaches,
Yeah, like
fitness
like it's
staff.
in your managed fitness staff, yeah, and your physios and things like that. So they're top notch. Hence you would expect they would have everything in the right place. But yeah, I don't know. It could be accumulation of a lot of things. Hen, you know, Probably hence why she changed some of the team in the last game, and she's trying to resolve it. But then you're not getting you're juggling because you want to get the consistency, but ultimately you don't want people to get injured by playing too many games. So it's like, what do you do? I don't know.
Yeah. It was I think it was telling of the position that we are in, and tip of the cap to Becky as ever. I mean, she's amazing for what she's done. We can't take that away. We can only play what's in front of us at the end of the day, and I think our lasses really, really did us proud. So we'll sort of go on to the second half. I think there was so much pace from them, so much possession from them. It was just a really fantastic performance, and I think it was credit to their players that they actually had on. I think they started aggressively, and within minutes, Aaron, 2 opportunities off the back, and it sort of started to feel like, how long can we actually hold on to this scoreline for? Like, is it going to be a moment of individual brilliance, or is it suddenly just going to click and we're going to get a goal? And there was times when there was injuries as well, and players were down, and there was like team talks going on at the side. So I know that was going on. It just felt like we were just outpaced, and I just felt like they had a bit of a spider sense for where their players were, probably because they really did. They sort of knew it. It was sort of like quick look up and then boom, it's gone. And before we know it, we can't even like go on a run. We can't mop up. We can't go in for interceptions or anything, because they're obviously used to playing with the people that they've got. I can't even say massively that we've turned over and churned the squad enough for us not being used to it. It's definitely down to injuries, but it made us really hard for us to run through defenders. I felt like we made life harder on ourselves because we were cutting back a lot, and we couldn't find the creative passes, Aaron. So tell me about your summary of the second half.
I mean, the second half wasn't great at all. We weren't closing the ball down at all. We'd given them far too much space to play and ultimately play through with. You can't afford. You need to be, on on the back of people's boots, basically. And I felt that we're closing down just wasn't good enough. Far too much space, time to play, which meant more possession for them. And we struggled to break them down. Credit, fair play, credit to them. They outplayed us. But I do feel if we had been a lot closer, closed them down a lot faster, we could add more possession. But it's a learning curve. Ultimately, it really is a learning curve for them, and they'll have taken a lot away from that game. But yeah, for me, the closing down wasn't good enough.
And what do you think about Ryu's comment here? So, do you think the lack of pressure on the opponent team part of the issue, like getting in their faces so they make mistakes?
Yeah.
I felt yeah, I agree with that. I think we were missing the veracity, and I don't know whether it was a confidence thing because I tell you what,
Definitely, it was a confidence thing.
do you know what I noticed though when Jazz came on? I mean, she's so fearless when she plays. Like
Yeah.
that's what I love about her.
It's
She plays.
direct.
Yes.
And that's what it
Like
is, Sam. Like
yes.
we needed direct players,
Mm.
and Jazz is one of those. She's you'll see a lot of players. They'll pick up the ball, they'll look left and right, and they'll play it out. Jazz isn't like that. Jazz straight away picks up the ball, and she's got one thing on her mind is going forward. Um, and yeah, that gave us a little bit of a kick, but I mean, I think the confidence was gone by then. Second half, was we struggled, and I think had we had that confidence, and had we had a better start, then I think things could have been different. But it was an accumulation of a lot of things. But I don't expect, like I say, realistically, I don't expect miracles from how fast we've done what we've done already as a club. They're doing fantastic. Me and you are very good at analysing and pulling things apart, but ultimately, on a whole of what they've achieved so far till today's date has been exceptional.
And don't get me wrong, I'm credit where it's due. I love the lasses. I love the lasses to bit, but ultimately, I like to look with a critical eye
Yeah,
sometimes, and
and
it's
it's
not
good to
from
be
a
like
place
that.
of yeah, it's not from a place of disrespect at all. I would
Of
like
course,
I'm
no.
not putting all this free time into doing this show and put my opinion out there for public criticism because like I love what the lasses do, but
Yeah.
ultimately it is a game and there are some fundamentals that we can look at in order for opinion and entertainment. So what I really found exciting was probably the last sort of waves of attack, probably from
Mhm.
like I would say probably for when Furnace was subbed on,
Mhm.
like that's the sort of attacking capability
She's
that I
a
like to.
bulldozer. War
She
Fernie.
is.
Yeah, she is.
Loved it.
And I'm being on the other side of like even when Rachel was about
Oh,
10.
you've played against, haven't you?
I used to coach like her coach. I was doing coaching with her 'cause I started doing like my coaching certificates then, and she was with us all the time in the car. But yeah, we played together at Chesley Street years ago. But I'd never wanted to be in front of one of her shots, and has nearly knocked us out a few times. She's got a ferocious left hook. You've got no idea, honestly. Have you seen them things on? You
She's
will have
class.
done like TikTok and what you're seeing, and when they're doing all the training stuff at St George's Park, and someone takes a shot and it's saying how many the ball goes through the paper. Have you seen it? How hard a shot is?
Oh, yes.
Yes,
I didn't know
like
where you were going with that, but yes,
yeah,
I do know.
no, yeah. I've seen a couple of those. I think who was doing it. I want to say Rio Ferdinand had to go on the pitch at half time or something. There was a few of ex pros came on to see who had the hardest shot. I'm telling you now, Rachel Furness would take the whole lot out with her left foot. And
But you
whoever's
know
standing
what?
behind it with a camera would be in the stand with it.
I love it. Rosie for you, cameraman.
Literally, yes.
Do you know what though? She plays with the veracity as well. And although I mean, Jazz is like this, she's nimble, she's quick, Jack be quick, she's all over the place. And I love that. Furnace, I think, has got this she's almost statuesque in a way. Like she has this commanding energy about her, which I
Yes,
think intimidates opposition as well,
she
which
is.
is
She's
really great to see.
physicality. She's as a player, especially like an experienced player like she is. She knows to give hints and tips to the younger ones. You know your homework that you can pass on. I mean, in the first couple of minutes of a match, as a player, you look to, whoever you put up against, whether they're stronger with their left foot or their right, so you can work out which way is going to be to your advantage to go around them, which side's weaker.
Mm.
Rachel will be passing all this sort of experience on to them, and she's very clued up, and she does that. She does her homework. It's years of experience, and I think when she's playing, she's got this sort of charisma, like a presence, and I think it's quite intimidating for any sort of players that are up against her. So she's always got that advantage. But yeah,
And you know what? I think that's again why the team that we have and how we've recruited is very, very smart, because that, knowledge transfer from experience, not just visually in training and sort of seeing it if you're on the bench or anything, but that must be fantastic for these players having internationals, ex-internationals, and you're getting all of
dream.
that. Like, yeah, absolutely the dream. And I would really love to see us actually hold on to some of this talent when we do progress. Like, obviously everybody's got a shelf life. We've all got a shelf life in our roles and our jobs. Unfortunately, it comes sooner to professional athletes. But keeping some of that core talent who've been able to be sponges, absorb, kick on their careers as well, which I'm really looking forward to
Make
seeing.
no mistake, Sam. Having someone that likes the Stobbs in the middle that's got all the experience and played all over the world, USA the lot. And then you've got the likes of Body and you've got Jazz there. Like, yeah, the 100%. I mean, Jazz was a development player a couple of years ago, not even that, and she's now in England under 21s. Like, it says these players that are playing alongside them, of these youngsters, how far that the progression is in a very short space of time to be coming on as an international and being in a development reserve team. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I
nuts.
mean?
And again,
They're picking up that and they're passing it on and they're picking it up
yeah.
very fast. So their development's obviously a lot quicker than others would by not having those around them.
No, you're absolutely right. And, tip of the cap again, and always be grateful for Amanda's influence, because I think what she's done for women here in the Northeast in sport is absolutely
Phenomenal.
massive. Yeah, totally. Stoic Protector, what can we do as supporters of the lasses to help you best, those of us who live in other countries? I love that, and thank you for asking that question.
I like that.
Do you know what? For me, I think the women's game is very much about accessibility. So tuning into matches where you can, looking at shows like this, sharing it where you get the opportunity as well. Like, we really appreciate you joining us on lives or commenting after if you're watching on the re-record. Something that I would encourage everybody to do. That wasn't a ghost, by the way. It was a bit of fluff, in case anybody noticed that flying past my camera. Everybody calm down. It's not most haunted. I'm not a vet. Looping back round and plugging back in. Something that I really encourage everybody to do is, if you are in another country, you can support by the likes of the War Flags. What the War Flags, I think, and Aaron, please chime in, what War Flags do for us as Newcastle fans, the men's team and the women's team, is absolutely phenomenal. They help us create an atmosphere when people are there at Kingston Park, or like we're going to be at St. James's, seeing the banners, getting the crowd going, that 12th player feel. The War Flags create that, and we are light years above so many other teams in the Premier League for the men's team. But for the women's team, arguably our support is just out of this world phenomenal, and the War Flags make up a huge part of that. So please check out the War Flags. You can make either a one-off donation to the ladies team, or you can do a monthly subscription, which is what I've got. So I do a monthly donation to the women's team, and this just supports them to come up with new designs, pay for the flags and materials. It's all supported by volunteers as well. But I tell you what, it makes a massive difference, doesn't it, Aaron, on match day?
It's phenomenal. And you gain, Sam, you're right. Like, they're all volunteers. There's an army of them. Sometimes they're short of people and they're asking. And I know when I was at the last game, Angela was like, Aaron, can you come and give us a hand with one of the flags? But yeah, Anything you can donate, would really appreciate it, you know, because it helps to just make that atmosphere a little bit more special. Playing the 12th player in the background, with the voices, and yeah, it's phenomenal.
It's amazing. And
It
please
is.
come over. If you're ever coming over, come and watch a match. Me and Aaron will come down and say hi. It'll be great. It'll be great crack. I am very aware of time, but I do just want to quickly give people a view of the table currently. So it is just, this league is so damn competitive, making it even more difficult. Portsmouth, bless them, although they give us a great game, they are still bottom of the league on only 2 points, with a 28 goal difference, minus 28 goal difference, sorry. Sunderland just pipping us to the post at the moment, and we have a game in hand, but it's still tough to call, Aaron. I wouldn't say that anybody's particularly running away with anything right now. It's still all to play for.
It's still really close, and I mean, if we hadn't dropped points to Southampton, we would have been into 4th place by now. Ultimately,
That's
again,
a good comparison.
Yeah, again, it's one of those where it's happened to pick themselves up and moving forward. But yeah, like, it's still all to play for, and a couple of games in it. There's 2 wins on the bat. If Birmingham lost, we could be right up there. That's how close it is. It's literally like that.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I tell you what, folks, thank you for joining us live this evening. As we did say, please do drop us a like. It makes a huge difference to us finding other like-minded people like yourselves in the search algorithm on YouTube. So please drop us a like, subscribe, ring the bell, all of that lovely stuff. Big thank you to channel sponsor, which is Mama Roo Records. As ever, a huge many thanks to our mods who keep our chat nice and safe for us. I do hope that you really enjoyed this evening. Aaron, it's been so good to have you back, lass. I'm not talking a glass eye to sleep anymore. So it's lovely to have you back. So that's worth a like, if anything. But in the meantime, thank you again, Howie, the lads and lasses.
Come back and check out some green.